Welcome to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where real people share timeless ideas. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and in every episode we dive into the philosophies, quotes, points, and life lessons that shape how we live, think, and grow. No matter where you are in life, this show is here to remind you wisdom is everywhere, and it's always relatable most of the times. Tell us your name and what you do.
Yes, I'm John Pezoulas. I'm managing partner, co-founder of ReadySetExec. We're a executive search company. We're recruiting across the U.S. We recruit sales, marketing, HR, and operations. And besides that, I have my 3 kids, very close with my family. And this is our 3rd year of business for the company.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast, John. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thanks.
What is the quote you want to share with me today?
So one thing that stuck with me is, keep moving forward. I think that's a quote that really stuck with me. And the reason that I think it's important is because, life's going to throw a lot of crazy stuff at you. And um, if you just stop and freeze, then you're going to not make any progress. So you just have to keep moving forward and be able to shoulder the burden of life, because it can get very difficult.
Yeah, I'm curious, John. What are some of the things life has thrown your way that you kept moving forward regardless?
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own story, right, in terms of hardships and things like that. And I'm not going to say that I've had the hardest life. I'm sure other people have had it harder. But what's hard for you is what's hard for you, right? Everyone has their own version of hard. So, I mean, I've had some setbacks in every aspect of my life, one way or another. There's been setbacks. So, losing my father when I was 20, most recently, in October, I lost my mother as well.
Sorry to
So,
hear that.
yes, can appreciate that. Yeah, so there's a lot of deaths in the family that I've had to deal with. That's been very difficult. Losing your job, I've had to suffer through, 4 layoffs in my career over the last 15 years. Very big job losses that are hard to replace, and that actually what drove me to start my exec search company with my co-founder Patrick. We both had lost our job and we decided to do it ourselves, and so we started our own recruitment company. So that's just living that idea of keep moving forward. And of course, sickness, other issues that have come up and so on, and personal issues and family life and so on. I have my 3 children, but I'm divorced, so having to go through that as well has been very difficult for myself. So, needless to say, I've had it from many different angles, and it's been hard. And having the responsibility of children. I have 3 children that I'm raising.
Yeah,
Um, there's a lot of things that come at you, and I think that's where the whole quote comes into: keep moving forward when life is difficult, when you have things that come up that some are going to be in your control and some are going to be out of your control, right? So losing my job was completely out of my control. The economy, how it is out of other one's control. COVID was a good example. We all went through that. That was very difficult, right? So there's been a lot,
yeah,
and I think you got to have that positive attitude of keep moving forward. Um, Even a small amount of progress is better than no progress. So you may not make
yeah,
$1 million, let's say, in your next job, but if you make more than you did in your last one, you're making progress. You're moving forward. So um, every time you get pushed back one step, try to take one and a little bit, a couple of inches, 1 inch at a time. You got to keep fighting. So I think I learned that from my father. That one really, where he lived through World War II, and he told me his stories of struggling with poverty in Greece during the occupation in the 40s. He grew up during
yeah,
that time. So when you hear these stories of your elders, right, your grandparents and your elders who had very hard times going through major war and a lot of other things that happened, um, then your problem seems small in comparison. I didn't have to live through a great war or something like that, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, but again, everyone's version of difficult is something different, and you have to find a way through it, find a way to keep moving forward. So that's just being tenacious, and that's something that the more you have to deal with, the heavier the burden, the stronger you become to handle it. I think that's an important thing because,
Yeah.
when you look back, you're like, I can't believe I got through all that, right? But that's because you're getting stronger to carry the load as you progress. I think that's where the quote really has helped me, anyways. So
I'd love for us to zoom in on the story of, losing your job that eventually led you starting the business with your partner Patrick. Where are some of the obstacles along the way when you both of you decided to start the firm? Yeah, to take us back to the early days.
yeah, so starting the business. Well, first off, we had no money. So it's not like we started the business with funding and when you start a business with funding, it's a little easier because you have money
Yeah.
to spend, you could pay yourself a salary, all this, right? So we started with nothing. We had no money. We had to quickly make revenue. So we were very aggressive with sales, trying to figure things out. We had to also build a whole brand, right? Like like the logo, the company name, the website. So we were working crazy hours trying to figure out our brand, what do we stand for, our values.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
What kind of market we're going to go after. There's a lot of things we had to think about. Just building the business itself took 3 to 6 months of work. And we were
Wow.
doing that at the same time as trying to make some initial sales because we also needed money. So it's I guess anyone that started in a startup, bootstrapped they call it, would understand the sheer terror of the first year of business, because we had nothing to sort of support us, no one to back us up. We were running on credit cards and lines of credit for the first year until we were at a point where we were able to start making some real money and actually take home a salary and so on. So yeah, it's definitely out of necessity that we did it, but also just sheer determination. It was being very determined to succeed. And I have 3 children, and Patrick also has 3 children, so we we have a
Yeah,
lot of
there are a
mouths
lot
to
of mouths to feed.
a lot of mouths to feed. But I think that also gives you the resolve. Is it was not our first time doing. We had worked together already. We're industry veterans, so it's like we're not coming from a place where we were green and didn't know what we were doing. We came from
Yeah,
a place of we know what we're doing. It's going to take time, and building a new company and a new brand, it doesn't come easy. It comes through a lot of hard work, a lot of networking, a lot of conversations, and then after we built our website initially, we actually redid our website in year 2. At the end of year 2, just this past August, we redid the whole website again to make it more aligned with where the company has been going. So
yeah. I'm
that
I'm I'm
yeah,
curious. At the beginning stage, of course, you've been working over 15 years in your industry,
yeah.
doing what you do. But when you both of you started the business, was that your first attempt at business, or was it more like, after a series of companies you tried to start in the past?
Well, when I was in my 20s, I had a music studio for a few years with my buddy in college, but that wasn't our full-time job. That was just a side hustle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I had done that. I had also worked in a startup before. So, Patrick and I were actually working at a startup for about a year and a bit together. So, we had already learned how to scale and grow a business. And that was kind of our training to then do it ourselves, which was kind of good
Oh,
in a way. So we had a lot of learnings before, and I think also just the amount of experience we brought to the table was very helpful in terms of knowing what to do. Like, for example, just even just having a contract, how to write a contract properly for our industry. That takes a lot of experience to know ways that a customer is going to try to not pay you. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of little stuff you got to learn, and that's from the experience where we use all of our experience, our best practices, everything we learned, and then applied it to our own brand and say, hey, what are we going to do different here too? Because we got to be different. And we thought about that a lot, what makes us different from everybody else. So, we had to build our values and what we believe in. And so one of our values is tenacity, which is very similar to, keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Tenacity is that hard work ethic, that grind, being able to grind. Not many people can grind the way we do, for sure.
I know you've had a lot of obstacles, but what was kind of like the obstacle regarding this business that's seemed to like nearly crush the business, but you guys uh, narrowly escaped?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hardest part for us was, one is being a new company and getting people to trust you to pay you, large sums of money. That's
Yeah.
that's tough. We're competing with some very big companies in our space, right? Big brands
Yeah.
out there. So that was hard. Another big obstacle was just sales. I think the hardest thing for us has always been getting new customers, because once we get new customers, they will like us, they will continue working with us. We retain our customers in most cases. So it's just the initial getting that customer through the door. That is the hardest part of our industry. And I think that's across for any other company in the space too. It's hard getting new customers. And I think another obstacle was the economy, right? Like the economy in the US, after COVID, there was a very little hiring for a few years. The last 2 years have been very tight job market. A lot of
Yeah.
people laid off. So that's been, those three things really have been challenging for us. And we just got to keep working at it. Um, and the good thing is we're not a huge company, so we don't need crazy numbers to be happy.
Yeah. What does moving forward look like for the you and the business now?
For us, moving forward is continuing to build our brand. We just started a podcast a month ago, so we're doing
Yay!
yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah. It was a lot of work. So every Friday we have a new episode of a podcast. We're talking to executives in our network. That one's so ReadySetExec, the podcast, is our new one. So that's part of our strategy for next year, is having the podcast. We're continuing to do our events. So every month we have an executive event for job seekers. So we do that for free. It's completely free on LinkedIn Live, and people can join and learn how to write their resume or look for their next career. We do that every month. We're doing one in December for a holiday event. And then
Yeah.
just continue to build our brand, build our customer base, do good work. I think if you do good work long enough, people will see it and want to work with you. So I think we've started to see that, where we're getting referrals. We're getting a lot of new business coming in through the door now, which is nice, and growing our team. Right now, we're between 5 to 7 employees, and we're trying to get to 10 by the end of this year, potentially. So
Wow.
yeah, just slow and steady growth, year after year. That's the plan, you know.
Yeah, that reminds me. Happy New Month. It's currently 1st of December for me. I don't know if that's the same time over there for you, but Happy New Month.
Yeah, for us, our year anniversary is on September 30th. So we're just had our second year. Now we're in our third year now, and this is 2 months into our third year. So year three is our big year for us. I think it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, I'm not sure you got what I said, but I said currently today's date for me is 1st of December. So I'm telling you, Happy New Month.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Are
I'm still
you
on
still in
11.
November?
I'm still in November. Yeah, the time zone is
Ooh, still in the
11:24 where I'm
past.
at. So I'm in the
Ooh,
past. Yeah. Can you tell me the lotto ticket numbers if you're in the future?
nah,
You
nah. We don't do spoilers.
the
You have to
spoilers.
figure
Okay.
it out.
Uh,
Wow, wow. Yeah, it's quite exciting, and I'm glad that one of the thing about being doing business is that yeah, one of the things is you have to stay in business, right? You know, and just the more you do it, it's hard, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But you have to do it every day. That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think consistency, no matter what you do in life, you got to be consistent, whether you're going to the gym, taking care of your kids, going to work, whatever it is being consistent. And that's, it's hard for some people, discipline. But the good news about discipline is the more you do something, the better you get at doing it. And so it becomes easier, you know? It's always
Yeah,
the first month at the gym is the hardest for people, right? But after a year, you're going, it's easy, and you have to keep doing more weight or doing more harder cardio because it's easy now. So you got to start. That's part of the whole mantra of keep moving forward is little incremental progress. A little bit every day, a little bit more. That's what's going to get you to where you want to go, no matter what your goal
yeah,
is. Yeah,
yeah. I'm curious. You said at the beginning of the podcast, keep moving forward, but sometimes when we're moving, we hit a wall, right?
yeah.
In that instance, it's kind of hard to move forward when you literally, I mean, not literally, but metaphorically hitting a wall, and it's like you can't. There's no place to move forward to. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about.
I get that, and sometimes in those cases, there's a few options. You go around the wall if you can. Is there a way to bypass it, go around it? You jump the wall if you can, or you break right through the wall if you have to. So it's just finding a way. You got to find a way. You got to figure it out. So for some things, it could be you have to rethink your strategy, what you're doing. Maybe you need to change it, right? For other things, it could
Yeah,
mean work harder. Maybe you need to just work harder. And sometimes it's just luck, like not everyone's going to be successful. Sometimes you're going to have bad luck, right? Like the economy or whatever. I mean, so we can only control what we can control. And that's the thing is
yeah, I love that.
yeah, there's so many
Can't
things out of our
control what
control.
can
And,
control.
you know, you can't let yourself be self-pity because something doesn't go your way. There's going to be challenges always. So, how you deal with those challenges is what makes your character, because that's the thing. It's the most hard is accepting that there's some things that happen and you just cannot do anything about it. So you got to just figure a way to deal with it. And it's hard for
Yeah,
some people to deal with that.
yeah. Oh, what advice would you give to someone who feels stuck, or who a major change that they never planned or expected just happened? I mean, losing your job
Yeah.
when you have a family to take care of. I mean, if it's just you, you could. It's not really a big deal. You could probably just skip by. But when you have a family, 3 kids, that's a lot, man. A lot of
Yeah. No,
responsibility. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I
What if?
think, it's like no one ever succeeds by themselves. So, I have to give a lot of accolades and love to my family that supported me a lot in many ways. So having your support system, having good friends that are solid, having family that you can rely on, I think having your support system is important because no one ever became successful by themselves. You
Yeah.
need a village to raise your kids, for example. You need, you need some very solid people around you to be there because, it's a, it's a very, life is not easy and doing it by yourself is not fun either. So, I'm thankful because I have a really solid business partner, right? So that's been huge for me to go through a lot of challenges the last few years. I'm
Yeah.
also thankful that I have very strong family and friends around me that are supportive, that have helped, when you're having those stuck moments, people you can talk to make you feel better, help you realize that, you may have just had a bad failure or mistake or something that have happened, but you can overcome it. So It's just keeping a positive attitude, but then also having people around you to pick you up when you're down a bit, because no one, I mean, I can't say that I've always been perfect where every day is like, oh, everything's going my way, you know, and some days I have really bad days, and you got to have people you can talk to and lean on, and, you know, it helps, right? So that's a big piece of advice, is find people that you know, can
Yeah.
have for your support network, and maybe find some mentors too, right? If you're trying to succeed in something, find mentors that can help you with that, because that's always a good thing too.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much for that advice. Right? Can you tell us a little bit more about your company and how we can connect and contact you?
Yeah, so you know, for us, the majority of the recruitment we do is in North America. So if you're in the US or Canada and you're looking for an executive position or looking to hire for your company, you can look us up at ReadySetExec.com. You know, you can find me on LinkedIn if you want to follow and see what I post and whatnot. My name, John Pezoulas, on LinkedIn, right? And then our podcast is on all the channels, all the streaming platforms. Ready, Set, Exec, the podcast. So, you know, check us out. Obviously, I can't help everybody find a job as much as I'd love to, but if you're in the US or Canada, you're in sales, marketing, HR, and operations, those four positions, you know, that's where we typically will recruit and work in. So for sure, it's worth to connect either way, though. Our website has a lot of free advice as well for people that are looking for work. Just going there to find, we have a free interview guide you can download. We have a LinkedIn guide you can download to teach people how to build their LinkedIn profiles. So there's a lot of free stuff too for people that just want to learn more about careers and so on, or preparing for their career, right? So,
Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
yeah.
Before we go, what's the name of the new podcast you just started?
Yeah. So same as our company, Ready, Set, Exec, the podcast. Same as
Okay.
our company and our website. Yeah.
Okay. I'll put the link in the description so listeners can click and go directly to the site. Thank you so much,
Yeah, that'd be
John.
great. Thank you so much.
You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.